Hey everybody, it's Claudia from LiveU, back again on day 2 of our CES LiveU Vegas takeover. We're back in the studio here again at the Cosmopolitan, and we've got some really killer guests lined up for tonight. But first, I wanted to take a brief moment back to just tell everybody what they may not have seen, which is all the unique and interesting people that have actually come in and taken over our studio. What they've done is taken over our space and our technology to do some killer remotes from all over the place. We started yesterday with a unique setup with doing some cool stuff. We're going through some pictures, and I don't know, so I'm just going to banter. We had some killer people here. We had Baine, the Gadget professor, who's actually going to be on the show a little later on, and he was doing lives from our studio. It was a cool single camera shot that we set up in about 4 minutes, and maybe we can talk about how that workflow went. Then we had Shira Lazar from What's Trending doing her Circa Pop live show with Jake Paul and the Deal Guy, and they actually used the space to do their live 1-hour program. We even did some stuff in and off the balcony, even though it was completely rainy and foggy and you couldn't even tell that we were in Las Vegas. We also did our own live show, but we had some other people come over and take over the space, like Celebrity Page TV with a Real Housewife. Basically, the space was cool, but also what was cool was the ability that anyone could quickly and easily hop in with their own graphics, hop in with their own flow, and just jump right in and take advantage of the fact that our tech was making sure that stream got out live, was high quality, and was completely reliable. So in essence, all they had to do was focus on great content. So today, we're going to take a step back in and have some fun content with my exciting guests. I've got Paul Amadeus Lane, I've got Baine, we've got Paul from PTZ Optics again to do some more Q&A, and I'm actually going to cut over to them right now, Joyce and Paul.
Hey everybody.
Hey everybody, so happy to be here. Such a cool setup.
Thanks again for tuning in. We don't forget to add comments and questions throughout the show, and we'll get to as many as we can. So, Paul, thanks again for joining us. I know you were at the show today, a lot of excitement. Tell us what you were up to.
Yeah, so we were doing a bunch of mobile live streaming with the LiveU Solo. We also had a bunch of our PTZ Optics cameras at our booth, and we were using the LiveU Solo as our internet source and streaming to our Facebook group, our Facebook page, our YouTube page. I kept on logging into my Go Solo and changing the destination so we could get all the different platforms.
Perfect. And how easy was it to go solo?
It was so much fun. So I put it right on my belt loop, had a camera running around, asking people questions, and we got so many live viewers because people couldn't believe the quality. And I guess the quality kept getting better and better. I kept on looking at the LiveU Solo, and it said more and more megabits per second. I think we're at 4 or 5 megabits. How do you do that?
That's a good question. I'll give that to my engineer, Chris, a little bit later. But awesome. And you know there are about 175,000 people at CES, so it's amazing that the technology was able to keep up with all that congestion.
Yeah, I can't believe it. And you're using the LiveU Solo now in conjunction with the TriCaster and our cameras to make a 4-camera video production suite or video production shoot in a hotel room. I mean, you guys are just
it's pretty impressive.
Television quality studio here.
Keep the comments coming, or the compliments coming, and the comments. But I'll take the compliments. And now I'm gonna, the questions. Oh yes, we are giving away some exclusive LiveU swag. I've got a super cool. Will you model this for me real quick? It's a little bit small, but we'll make it work. Got a super cool LiveU Solo hoodie. So model the arm. Work it, the other side. The one with the logo. Yeah, so we've got that. We've got some LiveU hats. So send us your questions, and we will get them on, and then we'll do a little bit giveaway at the end. So I'm going to toss it to Claudia right now. She's got an exciting guest.
Thanks, Joyce. I'm actually sitting here with Paul Amadeus Lane.
Hello, my dear.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
It's nice to be sitting next to you and talking to you in person and not just over the computer like we usually are.
Absolutely. We have a blast though when we do it.
But live is good any which way.
Absolutely.
And actually, I'm excited to have you here because I don't know if everybody at home actually knows who you are. They've probably seen when we've reshared some of the broadcasts that we've done together. But you kind of are the tech guy, and you get all over CES. I know you're at all the parties. I know you're interviewing all the cool tech. I want to hear a little bit about you, your program, and what you're doing here this week.
All right. How much time I got?
Until you see this sign
Okay.
from those guys, we can keep talking.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, my name is Paul Amadeus Lane. I'm the bureau chief for ABC News Radio affiliate in Southern California at KMET AM. I also cover tech, but tech wasn't my first love. I used to host the morning show for about 7 years, and then through my travels at CES and loving tech, I decided to switch all my focus to tech now. So I love tech. I love what it's doing, how it's changing lives, and also being able to just know what's happening when it comes to technology.
And I think that's what's great about your program is that you do share a lot of really unique, interesting applications in technology, and that's a nice thing that people can tune into. But the other element, though, too, is being able to do it live. How is that different from, let's say, a typical pre-recorded video on demand versus being able to go live like at something like we did at CES Unveiled a couple days ago?
Well, it's really huge, especially in radio, because let's face it, radio is a dying breed. With all the content out there with video, if radio don't adapt, then we'll be left behind. So I love being able to go live with video. Whenever we get invited to press rooms, they're like, well, your radio. I said, yeah, but now we stream. So it allows us to get in places to be able to have that content even a lot quicker than some of the TV stations out there.
Right.
So we love it to thumb it in their nose, like, hey, look at us, we got this.
Right, and it's not like you have a huge production crew or a huge team. You actually keep it a little in the family too, right?
Absolutely.
So it's got to be easy and quick to do, but still be good enough quality that when your audience at home tunes in, hey, Paul's live, they actually can enjoy the content, can hear it, can see it, and can engage with it.
And that reminds me, last year at CES, when we did a Facebook Live from Unveiled, and we did it off our cell phone. And I remember I had you on my show from CES like the following day. And I was like, hey, Claudia, did you check out our coverage? I thought she was going to say, oh, yeah, I love the guest. This was all she said. The video was kind of grainy.
Oh, come on, I was teasing, but it was true.
Yeah, and I'm glad and that's what I love. I love tough love because I knew it came from a place of wanting to see us succeed and want us to have that great content out there.
Right.
Let's face it, if you have some content out there that's kind of grainy and people will turn away from it and you lose it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
A worst case ends.
That's so
Those
true.
people aren't going to tune back in right away.
And one thing I like about live, going live and everything with content, you get some moments. Kind of reminds me of Comic-Con 2017.
What happened?
We were in the 12 Monkeys press room, and I was interviewing Emily Hampshire, who she's the one that plays Jennifer Goines.
Yes.
And during our live stream, we were using the solo. Emily was just talking, and she said a word that you can't use on regular radio.
Okay.
But because we were streaming, we were able to let it go. But we had to edit it when we broadcasted it from radio. But you get. People are impressed by it, too.
Yeah.
One other thing, too, we were in the Dark Matter press room, and it was I was interviewing Jodelle Fearlin, who plays, I think, 3. But then Melissa came in, who plays 1 on the show. She said, are you guys going live now? So what she did, she took out her phone, started sharing what we were doing, and that got her fans to tune in live to the press room.
Exactly. It helps get more and more content out there, and it's different, it's real, and it's authentic.
Absolutely.
Kind of like this show, so you're seeing all the gaffes and everything, because I will repeat again, I am not a professional. I'm just happy to be able to have a platform to bring professionals on to share their experiences.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
We have the same challenges, too, when we were broadcasting today live from CES in North Hall.
We had no power.
We had some, yes. We were part of the blackout.
Yeah.
So, it just happens. But it just shows the realism of going live, that it's real. It's not Memorex. It's not taped.
Exactly. Well, if anyone has questions for Paul, please make sure you put them in the comment section of our Facebook page, because he's going to be sticking around, and we can answer them directly for you, and we can do that throughout the course of the show. But right now, we're going to go back to Joyce.
Sure. So I actually have a question for Paul.
Oh,
Paul,
you do? Okay.
What
great.
what was some of the coolest things you've seen today, or the coolest people you've talked to?
All right.
Well, besides
us.
Besides Claudia and Joyce, Sinbad, he's here.
You just gave it away. Yes,
I'm
he
sorry,
is. I know, I
I'm
know, I know.
Yes.
Thanks for
I'm sorry.
breaking news. Breaking news.
And I'm the youngest in my family, so if my older sisters and brothers are watching, they'll say, "Hey, he's a big mouth Paul. You can't keep it." So yeah, but I would say the most coolest thing that I seen today, I was able to talk to an official from the Mexican government. They are here talking about the innovation that they're doing in Mexico, and you would be amazed. They're doing exoskeleton. They are doing things when it comes to green energy. And when I was talking to him, I was like, well, why are we just hearing about this now? It's because they don't have the platform to let ones know what they're doing out there. And some of the innovation was STEM education for children. Also saw an app, like I have a father who had a stroke about 1.5 years ago. And we worry about him. We want to make sure that he and my mom, they're up in age, that they're okay. One company from France, they have this app that will allow you to put sensors on their pillbox, on their doors, and on your smartphone, you'll be able to see whenever that sensor is either being opened, activated, so you can see how your parents or your disabled loved ones are doing. So that was been really cool.
Oh, I love the new unique uses for technology. It's not just all about the fun and live streaming and entertainment. It is actually applicable to improving our lives.
Absolutely.
I think that's really great. And then, are we going back to Joyce? Yes, we are. There she is.
Well, speaking of improving lives, I know Ben had an interesting adventure a little bit earlier. He might be able to talk about our visit to Omron, to talk a little bit about the some of the stuff that we saw about improving lives. There was
Sure, yeah, so...
again, we're doing it live.
Anything
Anything can happen.
Oh, my mic's off. My mic's off because I know what I'm doing here. Yeah, so let me just clip this on here like a professional. I'm going to kind of leave the mic hanging out there. We were playing Where at CES has been basically all morning yesterday and today. One of the coolest things he did is I went to this booth called Where at CES, not Where at CES, this booth called Omron. And they had this, it was a ping pong robot that basically you got to play it and it would learn how good, or in my case, how bad you were, and it would like go down to your level. So it kind of made me feel better about my ping pong skills, but it would start like reacting in real time. But what was cool is that we were learning about a lot of the other applications that it could be used for, how it's kind of the same technology that's used in like factories, how it's used in a lot of industrial applications. It's not necessarily the most streaming related thing, but when we got in and got a spot to do it, I kind of took the chance to just like get in there and do something that no one else got to do.
Are you any good at ping pong?
I'm like moderate at ping pong.
Okay. He was pretty good. He had a good run.
I had a good run. Yesterday we went skiing.
I could not ping pong if I had a paddle the size of a tennis racket. I am that bad.
The one kind of ping-ponging I can do is on TriCast, which we're using for switching the show. If you want to do a transition that goes back and forth in opposite directions, it's called ping-pong.
Okay.
So I can do that kind of ping-pong. That's the nerdiest thing I've ever said.
All right, I'm cutting you guys off. All right.
Joyce, any other comments that you got over there?
So, well, first of all, a couple of people want to know, where's LiveU available? Are we international? So who wants to share that?
Joyce, you should be able to answer that.
I mean, I absolutely can, but I figured.
You are part of the marketing team, yes. LiveU is global. We actually are located all around the globe. In fact, in 2 weeks, I'll be going down to Latin America to work with our Latin American partners down there. We actually have service technicians available 24/7, both in person and on the phone. And we have distribution points and warehouse points all over the world. So what makes that interesting is not just, okay, great, there's a lot of support and it's a robust company, but it also means that when we have customers that are traveling abroad, you can get localized equipment. So the cellular carriers are different in every region, and configurations need to be changed. So that LiveU unit that you have in one place may not always work in another country. So either you would be looking at getting some type of roaming solution from us, or be able to call us and rent a pack. Let's say if you're going to the World Cup and want to cover that, you can get a localized piece of equipment and then be able to drop it right off. So yes, we are global. Hopefully that answered that question.
Absolutely, and we're just excited about everything that we've got going on with the Olympics coming up and other World Cup and other events going on. So stay tuned for all that. But my next question that I got from Prima, she wants to know a little bit about remote production. How can you interview two different people in two different places? How do we make that seamless?
Well,
there's a couple different ways that that you can do that, and in fact, it actually is a kind of a nice lead into my next guest that's sitting here as well. There's solutions like this right now where we have a production studio, if you want to say it, a very small, simple setup with static cameras. But with our LiveU pack, I could also have someone out on the terrace, downstairs, down at the convention center, and you would be wirelessly transmitting that feed from our pack through the cloud, and we would be actually receiving it in here, so we could pull it in as another source. But really, what most people are doing now, and one of the next evolution of production is not bringing all this gear on site. If you have your graphics and your switcher and are doing multiple cameras, the least cost way and the most effective way is to just send the camera operators and the camera equipment. And when you do that with LiveU, in essence, you can have a unit for each camera, and there is what we have is automatic sync. So you could be producing an event, a sporting activity, a musical event where that kind of synchronization between the cameras is super important. But all of that is going back to wherever the home studio is. And at NAB this year, in our studio, at our booth, we're going to be doing just that. We're going to have nothing more than cameras, lights, and sound, and a great host, which is Baine, sitting here to my left. Don is actually going to produce his show from our studio, but our studio is nothing more than a cool set. And all of that's going to be fed wirelessly, and in real time, they're going to be producing it back at their home studio in Arizona.
That is correct.
Yeah,
In Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yeah, so we just got a little sneak peek preview because we haven't even announced that yet. That will be coming out in a couple weeks, and there will be some very cool things happening at that show,
That's for sure.
which we won't talk about right
Okay,
now.
I will be quiet.
But really, it's going to be a real-world case study of how to produce a show on a budget,
Yes.
without a ton of equipment, but have it be just as fantastic as what all the major broadcasters are doing here from CES, from their big, massive broadcast pavilions,
Absolutely.
which you could also speak to because you've been broadcasting like heck.
We've been doing that all week.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us what you've been doing this week,
Well, I'll
Don.
tell you. Hi, everybody. I'm Don Baine, the Gadget Professor, and we're coming at you live from beautiful Vegas. I don't know if you saw the unbelievable view that you have.
We can
from
see
up
it
there.
today,
It's
'cause it's clear
really
today,
nice.
yeah.
I know it's been raining like crazy, which is a good thing. But basically, I've been running the Gadget Professor show now for about 9 years, and today we were at CES. This is our 7th year in a row, and what we do is every 15 minutes we interview someone else with a new technology, a new idea, and it's quite interesting. You see all kinds of things, and the truth be known, we use the Solo probably every single day. It's our standard operating procedure. We just take it for granted, and the reason we do that, quite frankly, it always works. And you know firsthand that we've had people actually down and not being able to stream with very expensive equipment. We won't name names, but we literally plugged into the Solo and bang, we're out, and that's awesome.
Today, Ben was at the convention center, and
Lights
all
out.
the power went out, and
Lights
everyone who
out.
was hardwired was dead.
Yes.
And it was pretty funny. We did have a couple of broadcasters that had our stuff, and they were able to broadcast in the dark.
Right.
But Ben was able to say, "Hey, if anybody wants to go live, I got battery power. Let's go."
Right, absolutely. Well, we're out of Arizona, as you know, and we have done some remotes, totally battery operated. So, of course, we have the Solo. We have cameras that have power packs, battery packs, and we also use things like the TriCaster and live stream devices, and they're all battery powered. As a matter of fact, with the Solo and a laptop, you can get the same quality that we're seeing right now. I mean, the Solo makes that all possible.
Exactly. So we are here using our LU 600 because, believe it or not, in this hotel, because of the elevation and all the interference, it's actually worse than the reception in the convention center. So as you can imagine, almost 200,000 people, everyone broadcasting, plus all the attendees on their phones, all of the RF interference and the craziness. It's better than what's happening here in the
there's
hotel.
no question about it.
If we had to pay or try to get internet access
couldn't
from
do
this
it.
space, you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But then it's also great to say you don't also have to have the LU 600, 6 to 8 modems inside. You can do it with the Solo and just 2 connections.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and we've done that. In fact, we did it yesterday. We had a situation where we had to go out to a booth, we had to do an interview, and we wanted to go live to Facebook. I got to tell you, we just popped it onto the Solo, 1 camera, a microphone like this, bang.
Yeah.
And
That's
it was that
awesome.
quick, and it just flawlessly worked. The other thing that's kind of neat, and people don't realize it, when you go to CES or NAB, when you're at the Las Vegas Convention Center, signal is a commodity. I mean, everybody is on the internet, but I got to tell you, there's so many people. The wireless, you can forget about it. It just comes and goes. When you have a unit like you do, okay, like the Solo, and you're using that unique bonding technology, it just works.
You know, it's funny you say that too, because I was going to save it for later. I'm going to reach. Sorry. Unprofessional again. Because we have gotten some questions, but let's bring it up now. Chris is going to do a little bit of a product overview, because I know yesterday a lot of people were asking about it. When we talk about cellular with the Solo, they're actually external modems that connect via USB and can slip right into this nice portable pouch.
And they work flawlessly.
But you have two. You also can bond in Wi-Fi, and you're absolutely right. The Wi-Fi is not always the best, but what there are now are even these Ethernet cellular devices. So you basically can also take advantage of the Ethernet port on a Solo and have up to 4 interfaces when you're mobile. So typically the Ethernet would only be used as an additional source when you're in a static location like we are in now, but this adds yet another. But as we could tell, it's amazing how people are able to get beautiful, I don't know how many kilobits per second you were streaming at, but beautiful quality with just 2 cellular connections.
It surprises us. I mean, it's that good, and it's that reliable. You know, to me, it's the reliability, because you know, we do professional broadcasts, and the quality has to be there. It's expected to be there. But the Solo unit just makes it easy for us.
So I know we're talking a lot about the tech behind it,
right,
but I think it's good to maybe share why. You know, you have an audience. You've been doing this 9 years.
Yes.
I think they're going to tune into your show. Pre-recorded VOD is important. It's important to be able to replay everything you do. What's the value of going live when you're at an event like this?
Well, obviously, you know, the spontaneity. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
We can go live. We can hook up in literally seconds, and you're live. You're capturing the event live, and there's nothing better than going live. Also, my best interviews, oddly enough, have always been live, because you know, people are somewhat nervous. They might say things and tell you products that are coming out that they shouldn't have, and if it's recorded, hey, cut that out. But that's what I like about live. It's very exciting, and it's so spontaneous, and that's the way I prefer it.
Yeah.
You know, that said, you got to make sure that the guts behind you, you know,
that you can just trust it, and
yeah.
then you can focus on
so I can
getting
concentrate
those
on
scoops
content.
from those.
Absolutely, and you get all kinds of great tidbits, and that's the fun of it.
I like turning the tables on you. I've
here we
enjoyed
go.
asking you. No, I've enjoyed asking you questions. This is more fun than when I'm being interviewed by you.
Yeah, I've interviewed Claudia many a time. It's always fun too.
Yeah. But,
okay, so here we go. Turn the tables
well,
on me.
I was just going to say, I think you're interesting because you're not just a host. You're not just interested in tech. You also do know everybody, but you also know the gear, and you have a hand in it. And I've seen you. You're actually producing the show yourself.
Yes.
So do you have tips for people on, you know, what are things that are important to think about, things to invest in early on? Like, where do you start when you want to start doing this?
You know, today, because of the advent of the technology, of the miniaturization of everything, a couple things have actually happened. It's cheaper, significantly cheaper today, and more effective to get into this business than it was 2 years, 3 years, 4 years ago. You know, your devices are a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
You know, 10 years ago, this was only a pipe dream.
Right.
I mean, literally, you couldn't do what you can do. I mean, the Solo unit's the perfect example of that.
Well,
so,
and even the infrastructure wasn't where it was 10 years ago.
No, we didn't have the speed, you didn't have the internet. But today, you know, you can start off real easy. You can start off with a laptop, and quite frankly, there are hundreds of programs out there, not 10 or 20, but hundreds of professional software that you can download for free. That will get you into the video production business, the streaming business, and you may have a church or you know, sporting event or something like that, and that's the way you would start, very small, get a couple microphones, and as you progress, then you can work up, you know, to getting a LiveU unit and things like that.
And, you know, I think you bring up a really valid point about the types of content that you can do, especially now that it is more affordable. This really is about taking technology to different audiences. You know, there's everything from high school football games. Sure, some of them are broadcast on television, but there's a lot of places that aren't. But there are people that can't get to the game. There are fans. There are alumni. There's houses of worship that can now share their ceremonies with people who are housebound.
House of worship is huge.
You know, there's all sorts of content out there that now you can interact with your audience at home where they are live without a huge investment or a large budget.
I'll give you a perfect example of that. There is a church. I'm originally from the Boston area, and we did a lot of work for houses of worship, and they took a laptop. They had a MacBook Pro that someone used as their own personal machine. They actually used the Solo unit. They got one camera, one microphone, and they actually broadcast their service.
Which is what we had to do in a pinch for your broadcast from the studio the other day. Because some of our extra cameras hadn't arrived in time due to the bad weather here in Vegas. But we were able to do it, and it looked great.
Absolutely did.
And so thank you so much for taking over our studio too the other day. That was fun.
My pleasure.
But I'm so glad to have you here. But please, guys, stay tuned because we
have some surprises.
We have some surprises regarding NAB. It should be a really fantastic program because it will be great interviews of exhibitors, but we're also going to be doing some fantastic content and fireside chats.
And first of things that you've never seen before.
Tech-wise, yeah.
Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
First of things, but we'll talk about that soon. So thank you, Don.
My pleasure.
For coming
Thank you.
by. We're actually going to go to Chris, I think, right? He's actually going to take us through because we've sort of shown the product and flashed it, and actually explain what LiveU Solo is, just really quickly. We got a lot of questions on that. So, Chris.
Awesome. Thanks, Joyce. And I apologize, I'm mixing sound at the same time as doing this, so this is a pretty fun experience. So talking a little bit about Solo and how it works, we have an interface, a portal page that does all of your management. And this is really super important because now you're not trying to use like a little 5-way joystick on the front panel of the unit. You're actually managing it through a smartphone app or...
And let me just say, for the productions that we've been doing where at CES has been, I was the only... we had a camera operator, but I was the only person like running these streams. And I was able to put in my title description, all that stuff right through the portal. Which we'll talk about in just a second, but it was super easy to do just even through my phone.
Right.
I was able to type everything in without having to like be at a computer, without having to have someone in a master control.
Yeah, definitely. And so you can self-manage through the portal, or you can manage as with a producer there on an iPad, or somebody back home can control it because you don't have to be physically proxemic to the Solo unit itself. So you take your cellular modems. You plug your cell modems in, you plug your camera in. We have 2 models of Solo, one with an HDMI port only, and one with HDMI and SDI both. So it gives you lots of interface options. You can also use Ethernet, as Claudia was mentioning, and we do have Wi-Fi built in as well. Once you power that unit up and it comes online, it does appear in the Solo portal, and this is really where the magic starts to happen. So this page here is where you'd actually select your destination. We have a lot of what we would call one-touch partners. Our one-touch partners are at the top there, and it's so easy because you just tap it, and as Ben was saying, you just immediately get right in there, add your video information, the title, all that kind of thing, and away you go. And it's
basically the second you hit, you can either hit go live from the interface or go press the little play button on the actual LiveU itself, and you just go live immediately. There's a lot of shoots that I have done simply because I have had a LiveU and would never have done had I not had a LiveU. Things that I've done for Star Talk, I work on Neil deGrasse Tyson's podcast, Star Talk, and we just go to live events, we go to Comic-Cons, and it's too much work to pay, literally thousands of dollars for really mediocre internet at some of these convention centers. I've done events, in high schools where if you've ever dealt with IT, I love IT people, but you got to deal with ports and all this other stuff. Being able to just walk in and have something like a LiveU has made my life incredibly easy. About a month ago, I was hired to do a shoot. I was unable to get to the location, but I was able to give someone who's never used a camera before, someone who's never used any bonded cellular before, I literally gave him a camera, a tripod, a microphone, and a LiveU. I told them what to do. I showed them where all the plugs go, and away they went. I was able to help them remotely just to get the stream started from the portal, so they didn't have to think about that. They probably could have done it with, 3.5 minutes of training.
It is that easy to use, and that's why we've got so many people using it. We've got the IRL movement starting to use it. We've got a lot of Twitch users that are out there streaming, 12, 13, 14 hours with extended battery packs, roaming the streets of Tokyo. And so, we've seen some really very exciting use cases for Solo as we progress.
Yeah, and again, the one touch is just so easy. I use it sometimes when I'm on Periscope. I just, for fun at home, I just, play piano on the Periscope. The difference between my phone and an actual, it's more than overkill for me just playing piano in my house for no reason in particular.
But it looks so good.
It's like beautiful, crispy HD
so
video on Periscope, which is nice.
So do we have any comments that came in or questions?
I think we have a question here that might be, is your product compatible with iOS? This is from Tom Flanagan.
That's a great question, Tom. So yes, in multiple different ways. So right now, you can use the Solo portal in any browser on an iOS device. And we're also working on a streaming app that would bond the Ethernet and excuse me, the Wi-Fi and the cellular within the device and allow you to get a bonded connection from your smartphone. You can use that beautiful iPhone 10 camera. If you've got an iPhone 10, Apple's done a beautiful job with that camera.
Yep.
And you can go live, and you have some added level of redundancy by having those two connections. So you'd use the LTE that's built into the phone, and then you can travel around with like a little MiFi hotspot. One other thing that we can actually do with Apple devices is we do have the capability of bonding in Ethernet. So through a somewhat embarrassing series of adapters, you can actually connect together to the Lightning port, an Ethernet cable, and you could actually get 3 simultaneous, connections that would all be made available for streaming right within the device. So pretty impressive stuff.
And I think we have one more question here that we could answer before we're going to go to the folks back at the desk. This one's from Daniel Wright. I heard you have to pay a monthly fee with the Solo. What is that for?
That's a good question. So there is a $45 a month cloud service that we provide with Solo. And really what that's for is because we're not actually doing this with a single connection. So when you're bonding multiple connections together at the same time, you need a service basically in the cloud to stitch that back together. So our proprietary algorithm that we've got that does the bonding mechanism, we then have to, for lack of a better term, debond that and turn that back into a normal video stream, and that's what that cloud service that Solo provides is for. But as Ben can attest, $45 a month is a very low price to pay for very high quality and very reliable streams.
The reliability is awesome. And let's head back to the main area.
Oh, okay. Well, definitely chime in with more questions, because I'm sitting next to 2 people that are streaming experts in and of their own right. You got to use that, though. Sorry.
See, we're not audio experts.
Yeah. So I've actually got Sinbad here and his son Royce, who is the technical director, producer.
He's the Renaissance man.
He's the Renaissance man.
He does everything.
Yeah. So, because you do a lot of live.
Yes.
And you are someone who probably pushes the edge of technology, because we see you at all these technology shows,
yes,
incognito, trying to get the scoop, trying to get the latest and greatest, and figure out what else you can do with it.
We're always trying. When he was young, I would go to the shows. But the problem is, there was so much stuff at the shows that you end up going home almost didn't do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be so crippled with the technology, and everything was so close, but it wasn't there. It was so close. I said, I can't spend that money. It'll be dead next year. So when I ran, you guys was an accident. I kept seeing the last year NAB. I saw I said, what is LiveU? What is LiveU? The guy said, you got to come by and check this. I said, that's what I was trying to figure out how camera crews around the country. How's that guy standing in the field getting that live? I said, oh, they're not telling us. So now more and more people hip to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you want me to tell more people. I can't tell everybody.
No, you can tell everybody.
No, man.
Tell
then they be doing what I'm trying to do. So, but it's great. It's just
that's the beauty part. There's room for everybody,
yeah,
right? Because everybody's content is important to their own audience. Yeah. So yes, we did get introduced together, and you have played around with Solo.
Yes.
But even in just talking to you today, it sounds like you guys have a couple different setups for going live, depending on what the situation is, and have also played with a lot of technology.
Yeah, we did. We first we took out all that gear. Remember the first show?
We had a lot.
We had the cameras. We had the Black Magic cameras. We had the LiveU. We had the tripods.
Would you have it all in a Pelican case to a wheel behind you?
Pretty much. One case didn't have wheels. We messed up. He's Superman, so he's trying to carry that one case. I said, wheels from now on. Then I came with a rule. I said, backpack. I said, everything's going to be mobile in the backpack. If I can't put it in the backpack, I'm not taking it. Mm-hmm. I said, I'm going to go, forget even smaller cameras. I'm going to go with my iPhone. I said, that way I can keep my old iPhone, so that's another camera. Yeah. I said, let's push it that way because it's high def. As long as it's high def, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter. As long as you get the content, nobody cares what you use.
Right.
No one cares what you use. They care about what they see.
Right. But the people watching today do care because they want to be able to do the same thing.
Yes.
Oh, so when you're using your phone, though, you are using an adapter because you need to get the HDMI source out into the encoder. And this just basically plugs right into the lightning cable. And so the only thing you have to worry about is not unplugging it while you're going live. basically.
Well, you know what? Though? We never had that. You know, we don't let you walk around us.
Okay.
Unless you have soft feet. So they let soft feet people. If they got soft feet, they can work with you. And you have a guy like Royce. Royce keeps it so down and always trying things. So this year I'm so glad we came to CES.
Yeah.
Because it's a precursor to A&B. I'm almost excited because if it's here, I can't wait to see it 3-4 months because they said it's new and improved. So what we're trying to do is all the stuff we could do. We went by New Tech last year. We went by everybody said, I can't buy all this stuff yet because I'd rather have somebody hire me, give me money to buy that and set up my studio. So how do we go small so we can tell other people you don't have to spend a lot of money?
Right.
So
you guys don't have a studio.
No, wherever we are is a studio.
Wherever you are is a
Wherever we
studio.
are. That's the new thing is everyone has a studio.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like with music, everyone. Everyone's on laptop. Music now, it's rare. They do everything on a laptop. Even if they go to the studio, they plug the laptop in. So I said, why can't we do this video-wise? Because we're caught up now. So our studio is wherever we are. And what we was talking about, the young man was with the radio station is, they wanted me to do a radio show. I said, if you're not going to do a video component, I'm not interested.
Right.
I said, if there's all these video blogs, we talked about it. Why they call them just podcasts? It's beyond that now. It's radio. It's TV. It's not just a podcast. It's not just a blog. That's an old term.
It's Ben. It's what you're doing with
Ben, you
with
take it
Star
around
Talk,
the world.
you
You make it what you want.
Yeah.
You make it what you want.
Yeah, exactly. But it also gives people all aspects to see and hear. And it was not possible.
Oh, no, it wasn't.
Even just a few years ago.
Well, I didn't know about it until I saw you last year.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out how we were going to do this.
And and the solo unit was relatively new at that point. And as Chris was pointing out, that original unit had both SDI and HDMI in.
Okay.
Most people don't even know, at least in the streaming world, what SDI is. And while it's great, it allows you to have a really high quality camera. That camera is usually heavy.
Yep.
And
some of the cameras we use.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're great, but they're great quality.
Yes.
But the fact today is that you can get great quality cameras for under $2,000, under $1,000.
Yes.
And get that HDMI out. We also then looked at our solo unit and said, let's just make one that's purely HDMI input. That's all somebody needs, so we can even get to a lower price point and be even easier to acquire.
And you did it.
Yeah.
I mean, you fulfill, like, find a need to fill it. You do great things. You found a need that was so great. Even people didn't know there was a need because you created monsters out of people that didn't know they could do it.
Well, the good thing, too, is that we also partner with a lot of folks because our whole point is to try to make it easier. So, yes, we are one nice key component of it, but it's great to talk to people like you, and it's great to talk to our other partners because it is all about constantly elevating that stream.
Yes.
So I've seen some of your older stuff, some little Facebooks with your phone in an airport, maybe broke up a little bit. As you get a little bit more tech, some robust connectivity, maybe a different camera, maybe tweaking with the mics and things. All those things get pumped up.
Did you see the one we did in the airport? We had the QX5 wireless mics. Oh,
no, that's what I'm saying. Now, forget about it.
After NAB, we
yes.
had your unit. We're sitting in the airport. I said, let's go live. Nobody knew what we were doing. I got the wireless live. No, now we don't trick it out. We got the LiveU. We got the wireless live. So I'm sitting there, so you don't even know I'm talking to a camera. So now I can keep it like I can talk like this in the airport, but it's loud.
Yeah.
We were freaking out at everybody.
Yeah, we kept it small, kept it light.
Yeah. So it was undercover live streaming.
Yeah. It was undercover live streaming. So we could be sitting next to people. We're doing our show like, hey, man, we're doing it. And the people next to me, they're just in their little world on the phone. And I'm dogging them. I'm going like, this person wouldn't get off the phone. And we're going out live. I mean, you know what you do? You digitize the face out later and they can't sue you. That's the key. Digitizing faces.
See, all sorts of tips.
Yes, digitize the face. If you don't get the release, digitize the face.
Well, what are some of the other cool things that you think are going to be next for your live streaming toolkit? Or what are the types of things you think you're going to be doing with live?
We're going to be doing drone shots from inside houses.
Are you serious?
We're getting
That's his new thing now.
A new thing.
Drone shots inside.
The DJI Spark in the house.
I'm sorry, that does not seem safe at all.
No, safe.
That's why he wants to
be
do it.
safe, man. You can't be safe, dude.
You got like chandeliers.
If it's safe, he's
No,
not gonna
man.
do
You know
it.
what it is? This is what it is. It's like if you can't afford a camera crew, this is what you do. So I'm sitting, hey, I see my guests has come. The drone goes to the front door. You fly the drone to the front door so you catch the guests walking in back to the
Are you
studio.
actually going to be able to hear the guests, or is it just?
Well, no, because remember the Spark is so quiet, and we're gonna have our own audio that we're using.
Nice.
So we have like external audio, but the drone is catching the shot.
Creative.
Nice.
That's so creative.
Look out for that.
Even with the buzz, I like nasty. I like guerrilla. I like when you're doing something early. I like the guerrilla side of it because people go like, I didn't know I could do that. Yeah, man, why are you trying to have TV standard quality when you're not getting TV standard money? Do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, we actually had a question about that yesterday, which is, I want to get started. It was, I'm 68. I want to get started doing live streaming. What should I buy? And I think at the end of it, when we were chatting about it, was don't buy anything. Just start going live.
Yes.
Figure out what your voice is. Figure out what you want to do. Make all the mistakes, and then start to build and grow. And that's where it starts to explode. You don't need to come out and say,
No.
I got to do a Kickstarter for 10 grand in order to start my own live program.
This is it. You start with a phone. You start with your phone. Then you figure out. First, you got to figure out how. It's nothing worse than going live. You weren't live at all, and you're just talking, and you're not live, and you realize I don't think I'm live. This is my best
did that
stuff.
a couple times.
We had some of my best stuff. or I got the Bluetooth in my pocket, and my audio's going to the Bluetooth. People, all I hear, I said, oh man, I got the audio on the Bluetooth.
Oh boy. It's funny you say that because it was 2 years ago at CES that I actually came out and I was meeting with some influencers and people who are video content, online video content, and not a lot of them were doing live. And it was a very scary thought. Yeah. And this was before Facebook Live made it even more accessible. And it was people on YouTube, they look at it as, no, YouTube is where I put my produced, finished, clean stuff. And they forget that it's okay to augment with some of the grittier, more realistic, authentic stuff too. And the fear of, well, I just don't want to do it live because it's an unknown.
Look at the biggest followers.
Exactly.
The dumb a cat knocking something off a table. Look who the biggest followers, a dog licking his butt. You think I'm worried about having a polished edit when I got to beat the cat?
Yeah.
I got to get my content out there before the cat get his content out there.
So do you guys actually have like marketing strategy meetings on how you're going to be better than the cat?
No, we bring the cat in. We've hired
for
the cat.
advice.
You've just given up. Just join the cat.
Notice, but don't you do kind of give up? You got to give up fighting. People say, I don't think I have talent. You got to give up saying, how did that person get 18 million followers? And he's not talented. You got to let that go because this is the new thing. We're in something like this. So if you do have talent, how do I fight against somebody with no talent that's got 5 million followers? I said, okay, you got to let some things go. That's why I went back to, when I started, I didn't care what you thought. I didn't care about the grit. Let's let the first show be like, I remember your first show and now your 10th show, you guys are killing.
Yeah.
I want you to see the ugly.
Yeah.
That way when you do it like, well, Sinbad, they only have one mic. You can be inspirational to people if you let them see the ugly side of it. As long as your content, as long as your content is exciting.
Exactly.
Make the content good.
Exactly. And that's at the core of it too. If you have, let's say, tech that's reliable, it's your phone. You know how to work it and it's good. If it is something where you've migrated up and now you have a camera and you've got a solo, if it is that you're actually using some of our partners like Switchboard Live and going to a couple destinations, as you start to build and grow, as long as you can trust and rely, then you can put that out of your head and then you can focus on good content. And we go to so many events and so many video content creators and they're always like, yes, how do I compete? How do I do this? Quality of the video stream is very important for your brand because it creates a certain level of credibility. But you don't need to be there immediately.
You don't have to start there.
Those people that start watching you then will still keep staying with you.
And they'll like how you get better.
Yes, exactly.
They like how you get better.
Exactly.
You just said something. It's wild how we get into this game, and what you think you're going to do might not be the thing you do. You'll be doing things like, oh man, like Ben's doing stuff you do. You did this, okay? Now I do this because
I don't think he realized what he was going to get stuck doing when I invited him to see.
You got pushed, but you know what? You get pushed into stuff like this. I'm a little uncomfortable, but new makes it the people uncomfortable, and they say, oh, I'll plug that into that. I like this. You think it work? Let's plug it in and see what happens.
Yeah,
that's the best cool stuff.
Yeah. Well, I can't thank you enough for stopping by and sharing some of this. Joyce, I don't know if we have any questions for Sinbad specifically or
I'll get a couple of things
general
going. So, well, first of all, Dolly D said, "Hey, Sinbad."
Hey,
wait, did she say it that way?
Yeah.
I mean, it looks that way when I read it. Hey. Raquel is tuning in from Louisiana and wants to know what's happening at Berkeley this year. So I don't know if you can tease a little bit about where you're going to be.
Yeah, man, to Berkeley. See, I've been taking on. I actually go to Berkeley and Boston because my dream was to go to Berkeley as a student. So now as an old man, I go to Berkeley. I hang out on the campus. They let me go into class and talk to the kids sometime.
Oh,
and I'm
that's
taking
so cool.
online classes. With ADHD, I'm taking way too many classes because I can't keep up. But I realized even if I flunk, I still know more than what I knew.
Right.
So I don't do
Right.
it for the grade. I do it just to finish it.
Yeah.
Because I just need 2 or 3 things. I don't need this whole class.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm not a student going like, oh my God.
Oh,
Grade
yeah.
point after, I'm like, yeah, I flunk. I'm last. I'm in last place. But I'm jamming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's excellent.
Yeah.
Paul Richards, who was here a little while ago, wants to. Well, first he said he was so happy to meet you, Sinbad, and then he wants to know, tell us more about your live show. What's the, do you have a theme?
There's, you know what? Well, we got how many themes do we have?
We have like 30 things.
We have 30. See, we don't have just one
We're
thing.
still figuring it out.
We got one thing called, okay.
Grab bag, right?
One is called Live from the Throne, where I'm actually on the toilet. And I'm serious.
I don't shoot that
Look,
one.
he's not going to
Hopefully
shoot
it's the
that.
number one.
You don't shoot that one?
It happened by accident because, like, I pulled up my book, my phone. I was on the toilet. I said, you know what? I ain't going to fake it. I'm on the toilet. I show my feet. I said, my best thoughts. I said, I'd like you to join me. It was a joke. And people said, what time we're all going to the toilet? I said, nah, we got to create Live from the Throne with Sinbad.
How do you schedule that?
Well, you know what?
I'm just
much-
teasing. Don't answer that. Don't answer that.
If you do it too much, does your audience get concerned that you need to see a doctor? Or
No.
if the streams last too long?
Dude, you know what? No, there's no stream too long in the bathroom. Remember?
What if your stream lasts
Wait a
4
minute.
hours or more? Do
There's
you
some
need to
mixed
see a doctor?
metaphors going
Think
on
about
right
it.
now.
When men go to the bathroom when they're married, our wives can't come get us. That's when we get our best.
okay.
Oh, she's
I gotta-
standing there. You've been done for an hour. Now the wife's like,
I get it.
Yeah, we're
I
good.
get it now.
I
All
gotta
right.
say, next year we're gonna have to get robotic cameras so that we can follow you in.
Dude, that'd be great.
This doesn't fit.
Or the drone follows me to the bathroom.
I'm going to reel it back in. Joyce, are there any other questions?
Yeah.
But tell no, well, before they ask
Oh,
you,
wait.
you got some other things we do.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
actually
go ahead. I'm sorry,
We're
yeah.
going to create in my house our own studio where we're doing a show. There's one show like you're talking about what would Sinbad do? Kids will put up on Twitter, what would Sinbad do? And I saw this, I said, well, let me start answering it. So we're going to do what would Sinbad do? And then at the Improv in LA, they have a thing called The Labs, a smaller room. I'm going to do a live show from there. I'm doing once a week, The World According to Sinbad. So he's going to produce, direct it for me. We're going to use some of the technology. Did y'all see
That's awesome.
Hypervision?
Yeah.
Those fans
Yeah.
with the graphics? But it also will pull up video. So while I'm sitting there, I'm going to
very
call those
cool.
fans my fans. I said, my fans have some ideas for me.
Yeah.
And the video pulls out. Look at Hypervision. It's incredible.
But that's really cool because that's taking now video interactivity
Yeah.
online to yet
Yeah.
another level.
Yes.
That's an interesting one. I'm going to have to look into that. That might be an
Yeah.
interesting article for me to
Yeah.
write. But the idea of, we look at being able to live stream, get into someone's home, and now being able to do that on social and get those immediate comments and feedbacks, and that
Yes.
can almost help dictate the content. But now if you could actually also pull in the video feed from those people at home
Thank
into
you.
your program.
And they ask me questions.
That
Just what you're
is
doing here. I
great,
want to
yeah.
see you. What are your questions for me?
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
I
tried doing
have-
that Vibe in 1999. They were not ready. They looked like I was crazy.
No.
They weren't ready.
You probably would have had to use conference call technology or
Yeah,
something.
but I still would have done it.
Yeah.
They weren't ready.
I'm sorry. we get another question.
So Ross Andre met you at a show in Pennsylvania, and he said you owe him an email. He invited you to his wedding, and it's happening in August. So, do you think you'll be able to make it?
No, that's,
Or just say hello. Maybe
no,
that'll
man,
make
Ross,
his day.
look, I get invited to weddings and bar mitzvah and bat mitzvahs and, hey, I'm downstairs in the swimming pool with my wife. Can you come down and join us? I wish I could make all these events.
Yeah.
My son might come, though.
And
you-
chicken or fish?
My son might come. He likes to
I'll
travel.
check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
He'll get back to him.
Cool.
Oh, you know what? It'd be nice to stream live from
We-
somebody's wedding.
We've had customers do it.
But we're
You
not-
could
but
start
you
a
don't
whole
get to
new
tell what
business.
shots
It
to
is-
say.
Yeah.
You can start a whole new business. Weddings by Sinbad.
But you don't know we're there.
Yeah.
It's undercover.
Undercover
We're
wedding.
at your
Stealth weddings by
We're at
Sinbad?
your wedding, and we got little small cameras.
Well, you could stream from the bathroom in weddings.
You know what?
Okay, enough.
Come into the booth. Come into the
There you
booth.
go.
All right.
All right, so I do have a technical
Thank
question.
you,
It's
Joyce.
not a Sinbad question, but it is technical. This is from Emmanuel. This is from yesterday. We didn't get a chance to get to it. How do you monitor the network to know when there's downtime? So that's probably a Chris and Ben
Meaning
question.
checking the bandwidth while you're streaming.
Correct.
I'm assuming he's asking.
Yes.
Yeah, and you guys probably have to do that quite a bit too.
Yeah, but you know, we have the laptops. Quite tough because we run the
Yeah.
laptops always looking. You need more than one eye. That's the part that's hard because you need a couple. That's when you end up going and you're dead and don't know it because you're trying to do everything by yourself.
Right.
So you got to have some friends.
Right. Yeah, you do have to have some
Yeah.
friends.
Or at least mom at home texting you whether or not something's working or
Yeah.
not.
Because he's good at making sure I'm up.
So one of the cool things, though, maybe in the portal is that ability to
Yeah,
check,
so you
right,
can
Chris?
you can see the bandwidth in the portal. You know,
see
we're
a
working
preview of
on
the video.
Yeah, we're working on a new version of the portal that'll actually allow you to see you know, a bandwidth graph, which is something else that's pretty exciting. And on the front panel of the unit, you also do have a little display that gives you a bit rate number, so that at least you have some idea if you're actually streaming or not. No bit rate, not streaming.
Now you
So-
can tell your fans to let you know when they lost. You know the best ways to find out?
They will tell you.
They will start hitting you up on the phone.
Yeah.
I can't see you. No, they will tell you I can't see you. If you play it off right, I don't want to be seen right now. And that's when you fix the problem.
And then you show back up again in a few minutes in the bathroom.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I have tried like 3 times now to get off that, and it keeps
impossible.
coming back to the toilet. Yeah.
Think about a big idea. Think of that idea. That's the #1 idea. That's the one,
It's pretty hot.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say thank you so much, Joyce. I don't know if we want to try to get 1 or 2 other people, or do you want to let anybody know that maybe their question was a good one and they won some swag from us?
We actually do have a little, I have this little software I'm using to do a random picker, so it's fair.
Ooh.
So we've got Daniel Wright and Tim Flanagan. You are our lucky winners tonight. You'll be getting some LiveU swag with some goodies in it. So I'll private message you, and we'll get those out to you. So this is day 2 of the show, and I kind of have gone Hollywood, so I did want to show everybody. I don't know.
Whoa, Vegas,
blinged it.
baby!
You
Vegas,
blinged it.
Hollywood. Just want to let you guys know. I might need an agent.
You don't need an agent now. You go online.
no one-
You represent yourself. Make an avatar.
Exactly.
Joyce is not allowed to go anywhere. She stays right here at LiveU.
But yeah, no. So thank you to everybody that tuned in. We've got some viewers from Mexico, Argentina. We do offer product and support in Latin America, as Claudia mentioned earlier. I know that question came up again. So hola to our friends in Latin America. We can help you. So definitely check out liveu.tv. I know un poquito español.
Oh my God!
Habla español.
I think we created a monster. Which
And you can use the SAP button on your computer to actually get this in
That's
Spanish.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Exactly. Oh, boy. Well, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I really want to thank all of our guests. I think it's been fun, but there has been some really great learnings and tidbits here. Please feel free to continue to follow us at LiveU and send us your questions anytime. As you can tell, we've got a lot of customers that are always willing to share their content with you. We've got a lot of partners that are really smart, and we actually have a couple smart people at LiveU too. We're always willing to help answer your questions. So you can check us out at liveu.tv. If you're interested in solo and want to learn more, go to gosolo.tv. And there's lots of great videos, customer testimonials, and a direct hotline straight to us with your questions. But again, I just want to thank you for being here with us at CES. I'm very excited to break this set as soon as we're done here and get ready to go home. There's still a couple more days of the show, so stay tuned to some of our partners and guests that were here that will be continuing to broadcast and bring you great tech news. And we look forward to seeing you soon. Not sure when, but just keep following us at liveu.fans, and thank you. Thank you.
Your boy Luis.
Thank you.
Your
Oh,
boy
my Luis.
Luis.
Yeah.
Man, you the man.
Oh, no.
Thank you
he's
for all
gonna
your
be
help.
so
Did you
happy.
help us?
Guess what? He's getting married this weekend.
No.
Swear to God, yes.
Bye. We ain't gonna see you no more. I'll see you in the toilet. See you from the throne.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Chris. Goodbye.
He has helped us.